This is Wednesday, January the 18th at about 6:05 PM. This is the Economic Development Commission meeting. Members here tonight are myself, Michael McMahon.
Serena Fuller.
Craig Samuelson.
John Cody.
Okay, and we also have a few guests here tonight. We're going to be tweaking the agenda a little bit because we're starting out with the drawing of winners from the Small Business Saturday. That already occurred. There was a picture in the Westfield News talking about it, so we'll move on from there. We have a member of the Agricultural Commission with us tonight who would like to talk to us for a few minutes. So maybe we'll start with that, just so we don't have people sitting here for an hour and a half when they don't need to. It's all yours.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure if I was the review of Small Business Saturday, because that does connect to that. Anyway, so I'm Bert Hansen. I'm chair of the Agriculture Commission. We had, a week ago, we had our first ever Farmers Forum, held in conjunction with the library. Diane was there, and Doug was there for a while. Thank you. And we just wanted to do a better job with our mission of supporting the town farmers. So we thought, well, let's get the farmers together, have a conversation, or start a conversation about how we can how we can help, and how we can work together. It was I thought, well, it's never been done before. If we get 5 or 6 people, that'll be a start. We had 30 people, 20 farmers. It blew me away, and a lot of good conversation, a lot of good input. And we have, you can see I have a whole page to-do list of follow-ups. We're going to be doing some grant workshops with the library. Big topic was conservation of land and succession planning, to pass down their farms. We're going to be launching an AgCom website, so a lot of input on what could be on there. But probably the main thing was they were looking for us to help support them as businesses throughout the year. So some of the signs, the word signs is on here. We talked about an open farm day, much like Granby, Connecticut has, where farms that are not normally open for business, might have people in, might do workshops or demonstrations of some kind, or just tell them what they do. So an open farm day, that's going to be this coming August. We don't have a specific date yet. Another idea was a farm trail, like a wine trail, to promote the farms in town. And we almost have that. We have our brochure, which I can leave with you. There's a dozen farms in here and a map, and so we didn't call it a farm trail, but it's essentially what we have.
It is.
And then the third thing, and the reason why I'm here, an idea actually from Russ Fox to collaborate with you guys to promote farms in the same way that you do Small Business Saturday. So I just wanted to, come to your meeting tonight and kind of put that out there, find out a little bit about what you do for Small Business Saturday, and then just kind of get it on your radar, so to speak. And so hopefully we can work together on that.
Tag team. Yeah, tag team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because I went to one of the Ag Commission meetings 4 or 5 years ago, and at that point, you guys had a very basic folder, and it listed farmers in Southwick and I think Granville.
Yeah.
And at that point, whoever was on the commission was saying, well, we're going to update this, we're going to do things, and I hadn't seen anything since, and then with COVID, and
Right.
you
Exactly.
get busy.
Yeah. So here we are.
So those brochures are beautiful.
Yeah. And you may remember the tractor rally we
Right.
had in the spring for over five years in a row, but then COVID.
If you want to know when it's going to pour down rain, it'll be on that
it'd be 40
day.
degrees, right? Right. I probably should say we want to space these things out during the year, not have them all on these 3 things. Not have them all on one weekend. So probably promoting the farms would not necessarily be on Small Business Saturday, which of course is in November, and some of the farms are closed anyway. So I'm not sure exactly when a good, say, Saturday would be for this. Maybe you guys
Southwick
will.
can have its own small business Saturday.
Yeah,
Well,
It
that's,
doesn't need American Express to lead it.
well, you know,
yeah, and something that I'm thinking of right off the bat too is during the farming season, you've got a lot of other towns do farmers markets. So why not do like a farmers market, bring in some of our restaurants in town that have food trucks and some of our creative businesses as well, and make it a community engagement. And you can do that in the middle of the summer
sure.
when certain produce is coming out, and then do a great blockbuster one probably in the fall.
That's presuming the farmers buy from our farms, which they don't necessarily.
Oh, okay.
This is part of the problem.
Okay.
It just,
Well-
some of the commercial farms in town sell to Big Y or somewhere, because I've watched the Big Y ads, and
Calabrese.
where they mention Southwick Farms. So they don't sell to the public. I mean, Calabrese does, Flynn does on College Highway down near Granby. He sold potatoes, onions,
Oh, Feldman's,
pumpkins, etc. But a lot of the other farms, they don't really sell to the public. They sell mostly either wholesale or they sell their stuff at farmers markets in other towns.
And it's not all produce. Some of it's plants,
Right.
nursery,
Sure.
honey,
Yep.
Christmas trees,
What was I just gonna say?
cows.
Goats.
Yeah. They're not all produce.
Right.
So you could have livestock days and then you could have produce days.
Bert,
If you want to be present
Bert.
more often.
what kind of interest did you hear from the farmers? Are they interested in doing the farm days? Because in reading your minutes over the last 3 or 4 years, a lot of times farmers express the concept of, we don't want people wandering through the farm
Yeah.
unless you're gonna provide, someone's gonna provide volunteers to direct them down the path.
Yeah, we've talked about that, and at the Farm Forum, we talked about, that they could participate at the level that was, you know, workable or useful or comfortable for them. So maybe if it's Calabrese, you know, you're just open as usual.
No, we just thought we would offer people who were coming in and mention it, they would get free watermelon or, you know,
Yeah.
something to
Right.
recognize that they came for the
Yeah.
events.
Yeah.
Rather
And
than
we-
have them walk through the back.
Yeah, right.
And the goal is to promote the farms, is that what the
Correct.
goal here is?
Right,
Okay,
exactly,
all right,
sure.
okay.
And so we probably, on the open farm day, we probably would have some kind of a handout, some kind of a passport, and you would get a sticker for each place you went, and maybe there'd be a drawing, you know, at the end for people who filled their card, you know, that type of, I mean, we're obviously, it's a work in progress
Right,
right
and the
now.
drawings could be all centered around our local businesses.
Sure,
And I tell you that from what I did with Small Business Saturday, the businesses that I was able to contact within that 10-day window, they were for it. Any kind of community engagement, they were like, wow, you're wanting to do this for us?
yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think it would be that challenging to be able to get the businesses rallied behind doing something, whether it's a farm trail, a farm day, a farmer's market.
Are you familiar with what Inga had pulled together?
Yeah, for the small business,
Yeah.
so- yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's amazing what you can
So having all
do.
the
Just a
small
little bit of
businesses
effort.
promote each other, so they promoted the restaurants,
Mhm.
and we could flip it.
Yeah, we could definitely flip it very easily.
Yeah. And somebody suggested, they want to do, the farmers want to have bumper stickers and other, you know, t-shirts and other stuff promoting farming. And one was a bumper sticker saying that agriculture is business. You know, it's the difference between agriculture and gardening, right? Gardening you do for fun, agriculture you do to make money.
Right, right.
But if you're a nursery that plants 10,000 shrubs
Well,
every
right.
year, that's a
Right.
business.
Right. And then back a little bit to your point, Mike, about couple of issues are, I suggested, well, there could be tours of the farms, and there could be liability issues there for the farmers, so we gotta look into that. And then the other thing was, the timing. Lydia DeBober from Blossoming Acres is on the AgCom, and she said, well, not late May or June, and definitely not late September, October, because everybody's just swamped, but some other time of year. And that's how we're kind of ending up with sometime toward the end of August. It's still, it's the height of the season, just before kids go back to school, that kind of thing.
So you're looking to do one event then, for this year?
One open farm day.
One
right,
open
right,
farm
right.
day, okay?
And then one
It's not necessarily one event, but a farm day.
one farm day,
One
and
farm
then
day.
we'll publicize this farm trail idea, and then whatever we can do with you guys for a small business Saturday, or a Southwick Farm Day, or a
Because what you find in Connecticut, there's wine trails, beer trails.
Yeah.
They've got a trail for everything.
art trail, museum trail. Yeah, yeah,
But we can only leverage the farm, so I think
Yeah.
it's a great idea.
yeah. Good. So I don't know what else. As I say, it's very much a work in progress. Just wanted to reach out and
Sure.
do my homework for Russ Fox, who brought this up at the Farm Forum.
I would have gone to your forum, but I had another meeting I had to go to, and I said, can't be in both places.
Yeah,
It was very well attended.
Yeah,
It was great.
yeah. And we gathered some contact info from many of the farmers. 14 or 15 signed up and said, yeah, we want to hear more. And so I sent out a kind of a test saying, thank you for coming. Do I have your email address correct? And I got several responses. Yeah, you have the right email, and that was a great event, and if you do it again, I'll be there. So I'm on cloud 9 with this whole thing.
It's great that you have people from other towns come to see what
Oh
you
yeah,
what was
we had 3
happening.
people from Granville. Yeah. So
Well, most of the winners also for the Shop Local, Shop Small were from Southwick.
a lot of them were Connecticut, right? I
Yeah,
remember
there was
pulling the
in
numbers.
oh
Connecticut,
really? Okay.
so, people are definitely coming into our town on a regular basis.
All you've got to do is get onto the Big Y parking lot
Right.
and
Oh,
look at
man.
the license plates for Big Y and Ocean States.
Yeah. But these
And
were
about
two-
half of them
these were
are
two
Connecticut
our
plates.
own little independent businesses. They were just all Southwick
Yeah,
little
great.
businesses. So,
Yeah. Just a little fun fact to that point about the license plates, Mike. I live on Mort Vining Road, which is about a mile. I'm about a mile and a half from the
Across the-
Connecticut
yeah,
line. So I was taking a walk a couple of Saturdays ago, and I walked from my house to Diana Flynn's farm, which is exactly 1 mile. So it's a 2-mile little exercise. just for fun, I was counting cars and trucks going by, and I was out for about an hour. 24 cars and trucks went by, and 18 of them were from Connecticut.
Yep.
So I was kind of joking with Randy Brown at DPW, hey, shouldn't we bill Connecticut for 2/3 of the cost of repaving that road last year?
Are you going to man the toll bridge that you put on the road?
There should be a gas surtax for Connecticut plates, so they stay home.
Right. So anyway,
Vining Hill's no different in the morning.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bad,
It's
huh?
all Connecticut plates coming down toward the center.
they have one of your brochures.
absolutely, I'm going to leave them.
But their money spends, right? Those
Yes, it
Connecticut
does.
dollars are still
Yes,
green.
I-
They sure
I'm
are.
sorry for the dumb question about
Doesn't.
promoting
No
farms, but I never thought
Yeah,
about
top
it.
one
I never
here.
thought about promoting farms.
I'll give you one on my way out.
Oh, I have.
When's the
What are you
next, when's the next meeting gonna be, Bert?
It's the second Wednesday, so that would be, I believe, February 8th.
And is that here, or
It's
you gonna
right
keep
here.
it at the, oh, that's for the AdCom?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
We just,
okay.
it was a kind of a special event with the
Where,
library.
where did
Okay.
you have the brochures printed up?
Through Southwoods, but I don't think they kind of farmed
They,
it out.
they
Yeah.
do
Spotlight,
farm
maybe?
land.
So I'm
No.
not sure
No,
exactly.
They
If you
farmed
went
it.
through Southwood,
Yeah, they farmed it out. You know what? I didn't even notice that. Now you're paying attention.
Is this your mascot?
Yeah.
His name's Bert.
Very nice.
He spoke a few weeks ago to the trustees of the Southwick Public Library. That's where I saw the brochure.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I went to talk about the forum with Lynn Blair, the director and the trustees. And she, I did not know, is from a farm family. Even though she doesn't, she says, I have no talent for farming, but she is from a farm family.
Oh.
She's like all over this farming stuff.
Well, anything we can do as a community to leverage conservation, engagement with the community, bringing more people into our town, we need to leverage it.
For sure.
So, I'll, as a private citizen, because I'm not a member of the EDC, but I'll definitely see what I can do to offer some assistance.
Yeah, thank you.
Because I have no fear of the phone or knocking on people's doors and asking for money or anything.
Yeah, I'm aware of this.
I know you are. Just thought I'd just put it out there again.
Yeah, so that's my message. I don't know,
Cool.
well, I'm just curious, why are you hearing that? Any particular
I
thing
think
you guys want to talk about?
ever since that big C word that came to town a couple of years ago, I realized that there's a lot of people in our community that have got passion. And they came out of the woodwork.
Yeah,
And it's like, if we as people, knowing what our talents are, could start getting more involved with the community in whatever manner, shape, or form, we could do more good. And I would just love to see more people in the community coming out and saying, hey, I'm willing to devote some of my own personal time, when I only have this much of it, to see what we could do to help the town prosper. Not always by growth, but by doing other things to draw people in to spend money. And then have it just trickle and trickle and trickle. And with my background in marketing and event planning and recruitment at high levels to low levels, I feel that I can offer value. So that's why I'm here.
Your name was only mentioned 5 or 6 times in
And I
that
told
one
him I
article.
couldn't want that. Even here when we did the drawing on the 21st, I'm like, I am not part of this, it's economic development. And then his editor said, no, you've gotta call this person because she's part of the story. So it was either
Right.
say no and not have it published. So hence why it shifted last week. Cause I was like, where's the article? It's not, it hasn't happened yet. And he's there, well,
Which just proves that you need an associate member for EDC.
so it's, and then he said it wasn't gonna be printed until I would talk to him. So that's why I talked to him last
Right.
week.
It just, when it comes to the press, they may attend something and you think, oh, in the next 3 or 4 days it'll be in the paper. Could be, it may never be in, or it could be in there 2 weeks
I
from now.
called him twice, said, Pete, why aren't you printing the drawing that we did? And then he finally got back to me last week and said, oh, the holidays, you know, to me, that's BS, I'm sorry. Even though it's a holiday, business and life still goes on. That's always irked me. But he's there, and we'll talk next week and I'll get it in the paper, so.
And since nobody's paying for it, you're at their mercy.
Well, squeaky
Mr. Chairman,
wheel.
Yes.
if I can just add one snippet and I'll turn it to half a sales pitch on my way out. Mr. Courier attends about every single meeting in town
Yes, he does.
via Zoom. He sits through, I don't know how much he's listening, I see his name on about every meeting that I go to.
He's on
So-
Zoom.
He's on the Zoom and I'm assuming he's taking notes because I see an article on Thursday on what happened on the planning board on Tuesday and on Wednesday on what happened at the select board, AgCom,
He was at the farm forum.
He came
You
to
know,
the farm
he was
forum,
at the farm forum, right, in person, because that was not
And he
hybrid,
doesn't
right?
live in
Well, it was
Southwick.
sort of hybrid, right, but it was,
It
but
wasn't
he
really
was-
hybrid,
Yeah,
yeah.
but, I mean, Sage was remote, but it was, it's another tool in your quiver, if you will, for promoting community involvement in these meetings, because what I've heard back, and we don't get a ton of engagement on a regular Tuesday night planning board or a regular weeknight AgCom meeting, but you do have people that come and go, and if they're home and they're doing something else, or they're taking care of the kids, or what have you, they can bop into a Zoom meeting and take in what's going on, whether the chairman wants public discourse or just people to view what's going on and see what's happening, and the press can come into the meeting that way. So it's a tool that we have, it's a tool we've invested in, And, you know, I've been imploring boards and commissions to take advantage of it. Most of them are, and I think it's something that's worthwhile. And while you were just talking about that, it just rang true to me. I sent you an email today, but it rang even true. I didn't put that in my email. I hadn't really thought of it, but it really is. That's another angle of engagement from the press that further gets out your message of what you're trying to do by watching those meetings live. And then they also post the videos on YouTube for those that want to watch it even later if they don't have time to take it in live. But I don't know how much, you know, you can look at the view counts on YouTube. But for the live meetings, Peter's been at almost every meeting in town. His job is to cover Southwick. And we make it a little easy. He doesn't come to the select board meetings. He's on Zoom and planning board and AgCom, Concom, you name it. So it'd be great. I'm sure he would come to this remotely if it was available. And, you know, we brought in the resources to run the Zoom, so that's not putting a technical onus on a board.
Right.
And it's hard. It's hard to moderate a Zoom. Operating it can be learned, but moderating a Zoom and letting people in and responding to chat and all that other stuff during a meeting is hard for anyone to do. So we brought in resources besides the technological investment, but we brought in folks to actually do that for you. Make it easier. With that, have a great evening.
Cindy, are you having your baby next month? You might,
Yeah.
we're supposed to have our meeting.
Thanks for showing up.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Doug.
Good night, Doug.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Do we have any public comment?
I have one.
Okay.
Inga Hoteling, 45 Klein Road. I'd like to see if the board would allow me, or the commission would allow me to host a second annual Shop Small, Shop Local event the same weekend as we did it this year, or last year. And I'd like to have their approval to do it ahead of time because I want to start planning it, have it totally executed by October 31st. So that we can get more involvement from our local owned businesses and also get more gift certificates to be able to have in the drawing. So,
The article mentioned 627 or 628.
Yeah.
we got 600.
Is that a real number?
It is, I counted every single one of them. I threw away about 10 because I couldn't read the names or the phone number, or the phone numbers rather. But I counted every single little yellow ticket, which was
And that was
the
just on
size-
that Saturday, right?
That was just from that Saturday.
It's a lot.
My first drop
And a
off.
short window of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first drop off was at 7 a.m. To the Notch, and my last pickup was on that Sunday morning because I couldn't make it to Cowards before they closed because I got stuck talking to Mr. Saunders at the liquor store as he was trying to get me to stay there by giving me peppermint patties and just keep talking with him. It was adorable. I've never met the man, and it was just so cool. But
Yeah, just when I saw the number, I said, can that be a real number?
it was, I
That's a
counted
lot.
every single one of them, and I did them
And
per
do you
each
happen to
bag.
have a list of who donated the gift certificates or whatever?
Oh yeah, because I got all the gift certificates myself. So Kettlebread gave me $25. I had all the restaurants give me a minimum of a $25 gift certificate. So Kettlebread gave me 25. Summer House gave me 25. Congamon Pizza 25. Rail Trail, she gave me 4 of them.
Wow.
She was so excited, and
Who had the most entries?
Cowards,
Cowards.
yeah, Cowards did. But it was also
Busiest
Yeah.
season.
the weekend after Thanksgiving, when people usually get their trees. So we had 4 from Rail Trail, Southwick Inn 25, Village Pizza. He refused to give me 25.
30.
He wanted to give me 30. Daily Grind 25, Malicious 25, Crepe House 25, and Fresh Fields, the Notch 25. So people were so excited, and then when I left here that night after you and Russ did the drawings, I went back to my home office and started calling everyone. the people were so
Excited?
excited.
Did you get everyone?
After, I got everyone that night except for 3 people. And I ended up having to do another drawing for the kettlebread one because Marissa never returned my calls after 2 tries. But after the first couple of calls, my husband's in the dining room and he comes down into my office and he's there, "Do you mind if I sit?" I'm there, "No." He sat there and listened to all the rest of the calls. Because this one woman, when she won the malicious one, oh my God, I had to take the phone, put it away from my ear. She just like, woo! And she would do like what I would
It's
do.
fun for everybody.
Mega Millions.
Militia sounds like Mega Millions.
Yeah, and it's only $25. That's all that these people won. But this one guy that was the, I think he was the Daily Grind. He just wanted to keep talking and just keep talking. Peter Garr lives in Westfield. He had put his ticket in at Coward's Farm. So everybody I talked to, I said, "So where did you put your drawing ticket?" So, and then it was like, oh, this one couple, they won one of the rail trails. They're from, his wife grew up in Granby, but they live now in Maryland.
Oh, gosh.
And they came up for the weekend just to get their tree from Cowards.
Wow.
Jeez, that's a long ride.
Yeah, and they were, oh my God, they were just so excited. And he's there, I come up there, Maryland, Josh Regalia, and he's there. Whenever we come up, it's always a family thing. Where do we want to go to eat? And he said, "I never win, and I always want to go to the rail trail." And he's like, "You just made my
And that's the
year."
one he,
That's the one that he got.
Was there any sense that the event increased traffic in the stores?
Pardon?
Was there any sense it increased traffic in the various
I haven't
restaurants?
followed up with the businesses on that just because I just didn't have the time. But I did contact them all and let them know, hey, the people were super excited. So they were like, when can we do this again? So in my opinion, it might be something for us to look at, not just for that, I think it was the 28th of November.
And that was short notice.
26th, that was only 10
So
days.
better advertise, longer window, it'll
Right.
help the businesses promote it.
Correct, and plus
Yeah.
we can mention how many people won prizes last year.
Right, right, it's just a start. So
Right.
what I wanted to ask the commission is, would this be something that you would be willing to help me, or I can help you with, or facilitate it, and maybe do it, obviously, yes, on the 26th of November, or the 20th, whatever day that falls on, but also maybe do it another time of the year. Do something during the summer.
It's something we can talk about in the next month or two. It's just
Well,
tonight,
that syncs up.
we've got a lot of other things.
Yep.
That syncs up with what Bert was saying.
Yeah,
It
Right.
doesn't have to be. We can
Yeah.
have our own, like
Right.
I said, we can have our
Do
own small
something
business
else.
Saturday.
But,
You mentioned August, so something.
If you
I think
want,
it's fantastic.
yeah, if you could just
I'd be
let
in
me
favor
know
of
what
it.
y'all decide to do, I would love to do a second one for that weekend of Thanksgiving. But I would wanna have the approval probably around August, so I could start
Oh, yeah,
facilitating it.
as I say, in the next
Yep,
meeting or two, because
Okay.
just got a lot of things to go through tonight. In terms of changes.
you very
Yes,
much.
thank you very much. Changes in business developments in town. Some of the things that I've come across, 81 Point Grove Road, which is where the launch is, and then
Yeah.
underneath it is Congamon Pizza. The real estate has been for sale for months. It closed for $1 million.
Where the marina is, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what the new owner is gonna do, other than maybe jack up the rents of the tenants. I don't know what else will be happening, but it does show you that there is interest, and people are like, I don't know how real estate's gonna go with higher interest rates and with this, that, the next thing. But it's actually still happening. 662 A College Highway, that's the piece of property we're talking to,
Dug about, yeah.
to Doug about. These people have been before the Board of Appeals and the Planning Board to build a storage facility. So they bought the real estate after they got all their permits and everything from the town. Then 74 College Highway, again, we were talking to Doug about it. That's the piece of property that these 2 or 3 guys were going to buy, build a building for growing marijuana. They went through all the process and all with the town, and then at least one of them couldn't go forward because of other business activities, whatever. They came to a selectmen's meeting a few weeks ago and said, we just agreed this afternoon, nothing's written on paper, but we just agreed this afternoon that this other group is going to buy the property and do all this stuff. So they said it'll be a few weeks before we can give the select board any details. So that's why I was just checking, with Doug, has anything happened? And as far as he knows,
Will
nothing
it
has
still be a
happened.
marijuana facility?
It's going to grow, not
Grow.
retail.
Another farmer.
Yeah.
Another, yeah, another farmer.
The farmer in the building that they're gonna build.
And that's down near the Moore House, right? It's
Yeah,
near there.
it's in the southern end
So,
of
so
town.
they changed their plans or they didn't?
Changing.
They
numbers.
Changing of
changing
different
owners
Okay.
because one of the
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
because
okay.
of other considerations, he can't go forward with the business. Something that to me is kind of amazing, the former bank building in front of Big Y,
Yeah, it's Berkshire Bank.
which a local developer had bought for like $740,000 or $750,000 5 or 6 years ago. And for the last couple of years, there's been a dog wash place.
Right.
Because when it comes to Small Business Saturday, I give them some bags and some stickers and stuff. They obviously are doing well enough in that business that they bought the real estate for $500,000. So if you can't get enough dogs to wash or whatever, then you're not gonna come up with $500,000 to buy the real estate.
Board.
What?
I hope they're gonna do boarding.
Well, yeah, whatever else they do, but it was interesting that
Yeah. I think Ralph De Palma owned that.
he did.
Yeah.
As I say, he paid like $740
Yeah.
or $750. It's like, God, how much rent do you have to charge per month to service a $750,000 mortgage, or whatever the amount of his mortgage? 800 College Highway. This is that mystery building that was the medical offices, and then a woman moved in there who has her doctorate in nursing. Well, I was on their website last week. Now there's 3 of them, people with doctorates in nursing that are in there. So there's 3 of them practicing medicine rather than just one. Because the building is a
huge.
good size,
Yeah.
yes. So that's progress. Personally, I don't quite understand a doctorate in nursing exactly what kind of medical work you can do without an MD being in the building, but that's not my problem. And then, of course, the Agricultural Commission talked to us tonight on some of the things that they see coming up. The Master Plan Committee is still moving forward with their things. They're now having meetings, they're calling them focus group meetings with small groups in town to get more of their input into the master plan. They had an informal one with the senior center a couple of weeks ago, although they couldn't come because of some last minute clash of meetings. But the senior center had like 15 or 16 people there, and they were trying to get input from people, what kind of, and this wouldn't go into the master plan, but what kind of services or activities should the senior center be doing in the future? And then people talked about, well, maybe the building needs to be expanded so they could do more classes or more activities or things in the senior
Did you
center.
happen to attend that one? Were
Well,
you there?
I was
You
there.
were there? Good conversation, good dialogue?
Oh, it was great, because what Cindy did, Cindy Sullivan, the senior center director, is she talked first about what services and things the senior center currently does. And people say like, oh, I didn't know you did that, I didn't know that service. Well, could we get somebody in the town to do such and such? Sitting in the back row was the new fire chief. He says, well, I can't really send my people out to put new batteries in your smoke detectors, but here are some of the things that we do, or we have lists of people who do that kind of work. It's not a recommendation or anything, but here are some people that do this kind of stuff. So it was a very interesting session. Over the next couple of weeks, the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission is gonna have a similar type session with the Cultural Council and with various other organizations in town. And I think at some point, they're gonna wanna talk to economic development. These meetings that Pioneer Valley does are held during the day, but they haven't scheduled most of them. But they're having a meeting tomorrow night at 7:00, and they're gonna talk about updating the focus group meetings. And they're gonna report on the Farmers Forum that was just held, and some other things coming up. Which then brings us to another topic. I've been informally asked by staff working with the master plan with the town that they'd like somebody from economic development to come to some of these meetings. I was going to talk to Amber tonight, but she's not here, so I think I'll go to some of these meetings and see if we can at least get some intelligence of what's happening there, and also provide some input.
Amber doesn't attend most of the master plan meetings.
Yeah,
That was the,
She had said that, yeah, she's.
that was the impression I got from somebody.
She might have been on the last one on Zoom. But
Okay, so what other things are going on in town that we need to mention? Any new businesses coming into town, or anything happening? Yes?
The ceramic studio, are you aware of where that is?
Yes.
Yes.
Behind Designer's Edge. She bought the rest of, or she's leasing.
Yeah,
I had heard
The
that she's
rest
taking
of
over
it.
more space.
She has opened up one whole section of it for classes. She's keeping the first section to do all her firing and glazing work and stuff. Opened a second section for classrooms, and the third section for
To take your stuff and sell
small,
it, or
local, handmade businesses.
the handmade stuff, yeah. My wife's been telling
went
me
to
that,
that?
she sees it on
you do
Facebook.
that, Serena?
Yeah.
I know,
So
that's
any-
nice.
Anything else happening
Filling
in
up
town?
fast.
Anything else happening in town?
I just wanted to mention, she's having a February 1st grand opening that you might want to help promote.
What day of the week is
I have no
February?
idea. I have no idea.
February
Do you know
1st,
her?
looks like Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, it is, right.
February
Yeah.
1st-ish, so, I
Right.
mean, you can talk to her and see when she's really, having a formal.
Is it
grand
Michelle, is that her
opening.
name?
Michelle.
Okay.
What's the name of her ceramics? Does she have,
Inspired Art Studios now.
There's a sign just down on the same building that says,
It's only
Space
on the building.
space reserved for Wally Computer.
Yeah.
Because apparently that was his
It was
first
his, yeah,
storefront.
yeah.
He owns the building.
right?
And she doesn't have signage on the roadside, so I don't know if you can, make some suggestions to her on that or help her out with that, figure something out.
Yeah, see, one of the challenges of zoning in town is there's supposed to be only one sign per building. That's why if you look at some of the buildings, it'll list 4, 5, 6 names, all within that 4 by 6 foot or whatever the
Right,
thing
well,
is.
there is the one on the road,
Right,
which doesn't have everybody on it.
Right, I know.
so-
which you can't really read if you're driving
You
by.
can't read, I was just gonna
Right.
say, I don't even, yeah,
but
you
hey,
can't read
we
those.
may get some input from Craig. Craig was on that
Oh,
sign
yes.
committee when
Remember
they
that, Craig?
updated it last 5 or 6 years ago.
I
correct?
remember talking about that 20 years ago.
Yeah. 20 years ago, I remember.
I'm thinking of the public meeting at the pizza place,
Oh,
when you updated it last.
wasn't pretty.
Are there any simple solutions for businesses when it comes to that? Or given the fact that there's only the one, you can only have the one sign for the one building?
I don't think there was any concession on that, I think. I mean, she's got different storefronts along there, she can't, you're saying she can't apply the
Durham
different
sign.
aspects of the business across the front?
But the premise,
I'm not sure what
her part of the building is in back
she's in back,
of
she's
College
not
Highway,
on
so
the
you can't
street
even
front,
see it from
so I
College
don't know what
Highway.
her complications are with that. But she said it just wasn't worth her effort to try to fight it, so I don't know what issues she has with it. So, I mean, whoever.
Yeah, you
know, if
could drive
talk
up and
to her
down the
about-
road all day long and you'd never know
Yeah.
that this woman is there. Because you can't see that part of the building from the road.
And she doesn't have her name on the sign, on the building sign then, huh?
No,
No,
no. On her side of it, it's on her windows. You know,
but if
doors.
you're driving down the road, you can't see it.
Is there a sign for what's in that building on the road?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's wicked small though too, but it's something at
it
least.
talks about a
Better than
beauty
nothing.
salon, and it talks about, there used to be a parts store in there, and there
Yeah.
Some
used to be,
contractor or
some
something.
other things, yeah.
So, I mean, if you, you've done grand opening something or other, or something for other businesses, so if you talk to her, you might mention and just see what the issues are. I don't know,
Okay,
guidance for her, right?
Anything else new?
so we've,
Is there a steakhouse going in where the old Louis B's?
Yes.
Is it gonna be a new name instead of what that leisure, what is it called now?
It was
Lake
Lake
Life
101.
So it's gonna be something else.
Steakhouse, something or other.
Okay, alright.
because they
High
went,
end, it's supposed to be
Very high
kinda
end.
high end.
because they went before the selectmen a few weeks back to change over the liquor license. I wasn't at that meeting, so I don't,
Is it Jen?
No,
Oh, okay,
she owns the real estate.
okay.
So what's happened to Prifty's building now?
Nancy's leasing it.
I was gonna say, somebody seems to be leasing the building, because there's a truck parked every day out there that has some
Yeah,
initials
He's
and name
leasing
on
it.
it.
Yes.
I think he's intending to buy it, but I don't know for certain. But Tim didn't buy it.
Did he buy the property behind it? Because
No.
there was a rumor, but I didn't
I
know.
don't believe so.
What kind of
Okay.
business is it?
I think it's an electrical contractor.
Yeah, there, I think TBCS.
Yeah, I don't know what he
No,
does.
it makes sense.
Yeah. That's it. Boy, we're smart tonight.
Because when I'm driving by, I can't read what's
Right.
written on the side of the truck, other than the fact that there's something written on it. In terms of our review of Small Business Saturday, I think basically we've covered that. And we'll be talking about that, in the next month or two. One thing we do have to cover is this next item, activities and spending for the balance of FY '23.
As you transition to this next item, I
That's
think
good.
Sure,
Thanks.
I'll run along.
sure.
Thank you for.
Thank you
for
very
coming
much
to the
for
meeting.
coming. And we'll definitely be in touch with you.
Yeah, thanks very
Thank you
much
so
for the
much.
opportunity.
Continued success.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Good night.
Thank you.
My best to Juliet.
Well,
Is he a farmer?
No,
Okay.
He's a gardener. He is a master gardener,
Okay,
in fact.
I know plenty of
And
those.
he sort of manages the Sofanowski Community Garden.
Oh, okay.
if you go on the town website, you'll
All
see
right.
his name and you'll see the application form and various other things. In terms of this fiscal year, as you know, the fiscal year ends June 30th. So if we're going to spend any of that money that Inca was encouraging us a year ago to ask for,
Diane is.
then we need to spend
How
it.
much was it?
2,000?
We got $2,000.
And it
How
was
much do we have
actually,
left?
excuse me, it was Diane who was encouraging
Sorry.
to
It
get
doesn't
the money.
matter.
But you got it.
But you got it.
But therefore, we need to spend it.
Right. Have we spent anything?
We haven't spent anything. We were planning on spending money on some signs for the job fair, which then got canceled because of the
So
preliminary
you shouldn't
elections.
be penalized for that.
Right.
When it comes to justifying your budget.
But that's why, in the meantime, what I can do, if everybody's happy with it, is put in some purchase orders to pay for the membership at Greater Westfield Chamber and
Granby?
bring the Granby Chamber back up, because we haven't been a member of that last couple of years. And what other things do we want to do?
What could we spend it on?
I mean, many times you can have generic, like right outside here, the last couple of
Yeah,
months
see
we've
the
had
sandwich board there, yeah.
right,
Yeah.
sandwich board, those kind of things, as long as you don't put dates or anything on them, they can be used from year to year. Yes,
Could you contract someone to get your website going? Revived.
that's thousands of dollars anytime you,
You already have one, you would need someone to refresh it, update the data on it, load your Southwick small business list on it.
Promote new businesses. that
well, yeah,
just come into
we could
town.
probably do maybe some of that next year, but I'm thinking the way the town budget goes, you have to, in effect, have spent your money by the end of May, even though you got till the end of June, but if it's not spent, it may disappear.
But it's January.
Yeah,
You have
I,
time to get
I
someone
understand
to
that,
spend it on.
but I'm, the website, we can kind of put a little bit to the side of the table. Are there other things that we can spend in the next month or two quickly? But I mean, it's gotta be stuff that makes sense that we can use, that's why I say,
Right.
like signs. If we wanted to, we could have signs, if we think we'll do a job fair in the future, then we could have signs made, as long as we don't put in dates and times. Because that, hasn't been determined. In terms of this, what was it called again, the, farm, I don't want to say farm day, that's not the right.
Yep, it was farm day.
Open
Farm
farm
day.
day.
So we could have a couple of signs for that without putting in dates. One of the things that my wife and I have found handy, because she's involved with the Cultural Council and involved with the library, is many times we can have Spotlight Graphics make a sign, and then when you've got a particular date, a particular year, she makes like a little strip that you just take and you stick on the sign, like the craft fair for the library, September 24th.
Right.
That went right over the previous year, which was some date in September or October. You know, so you can tweak it, so you're not having to replace the whole sign.
I'm fine with that. Are we gonna have a business fair, do you think?
That's one of the questions
Yeah.
we've got on the
Because
agenda.
we spent money doing that.
Do we want to do that again? And then you'd get to the point, well, do you want to do it in the spring or do you want to do it in the fall? But the basic question is, do we want to do it? Because in the past, for example, when we've had it here, we've had 20 to 30 businesses.
Right.
But how many prospects came through the doors for that?
We had a good few people, members of the public, coming to it.
We did well when we had it at the ranch, we were with the Westfield Chamber.
Yes.
That was very popular. Cause I think we decided they need to have
They-
food and drinks or
I
something.
was gonna say,
Or for people to
what
come.
attracts people, when we had it at 625 College Highway, at the restaurant there, Tucker's, or at the ranch, people come and they're willing, because they're getting in for nothing, there's no admission charge for the public. They'll spend the $4, $5, $6, $7 for a glass of wine or a couple of beers or whatever. And you're right, it was very popular at the ranch. The ranch made out very well running the bar. Tucker's did the same thing. And I don't care, they're a business if they can, make a few bucks.
I was thinking you were saying job, I'm sorry, I was,
Yeah, we're talking about the business
Yeah, okay,
versus
sorry.
the job fair.
yeah, I
Right.
was. I
What
was
do you do
thinking-
at the business fair?
Basically,
Highlight business.
we had a table, businesses could register, have a table, and then they could promote their business. So for example, you might have a florist. We then got Westfield Bank would have a table, you might have Berkshire Bank, you might have Mason Insurance Agency, or one of the other insurance agencies, one or two real estate agents, or a mortgage broker.
So service providers.
Right, service providers, they have their brochures or their business cards or whatever, it's up to them to promote and sell whatever their product or service.
And we ended up having a lot of in-home businesses that we didn't even know existed.
Right,
Um,
could be the Tupperware,
Yeah.
one year, we had this Lululemon, which at that time I had never heard of.
Yeah.
Didn't know what it was, I've heard it since, but that time, but it was business people, be it a business operating out of their dining room or operating out of from a storefront or something in between. That's why my business list, I've got about 400 businesses on it. And people say, there's not that many businesses in town. When it came to the government PPP money a couple of years ago during COVID, 299 businesses who claimed to be in Southwick and had a Southwick address got the PPP money. First it was loans and then it became free money to them. So there's a lot of businesses here. Others, like when we had the job fair, there's a little guy who's got a carpentry business. He builds houses or additions to your house or whatever. He was looking for more help. I didn't even know he existed. So I'm just saying there's a lot of them out there.
Can I make a comment? I want to go back to what Diane was mentioning about the website. I know how much money do you have left in your budget approximately?
We have $2,000.
So, okay, so $2,000. Lucas Karen, who's over at Southwoods Printing, has gotten really involved with the master plan. He's young, he's in high school, and he's very passionate about the town and the future of the town. So he also works, obviously, at his grandparents' business. Why not approach the Karens, talk with Lucas, and see what you might be able to do with that $2,000 or maybe $1,500 of it, and have these young, smart high school students be able to even put it on their resume as I did this for the town of Southwick by updating their resume, updating their website. It might not be as costly as you might think it would be if you were to get some local kids that live here in town that are computer wizards and website fanatics, that they might really get psyched about doing something for the town that they're gonna see actually tangible, and they can say, wow, I did that. And then they can also put it in their portfolio / resume for future recognition
I know.
or achievements.
I know 15 to 20 years ago when people would say about how do you set up a website, I told people, walk around your neighborhood and find some 15 or 16-year-old kid.
Right, so.
And they can make it user-friendly.
Oh, no, I
They can
understand.
make it wicked user-friendly for
Yeah.
people like me. And I know that we've been doing some work on our town website to make it easier for people in the community to know when the meetings are. So, and a lot of the new people coming into town, they might not go to a fair. They might go right onto our website to see, okay, what are the new businesses in town, or what are the businesses in town? Or what events might be happening in town. And as an EDC, that's a great contribution that you all can put on that website by having it updated. We have the resources here from, like Doug was saying, to help us do things, or to help you all do things. And you might just get a nugget by going over to the Karens and saying, hey, I've got a need. What kind of resource can you offer us? Or Lucas, how can you help us?
Or to the school.
Or to the
Go to
school.
the school guidance counselor.
Yep, the school guidance counselor. You might have an opportunity to jazz up that website for maybe 15 grand, maybe less. They could do it as a project.
You meant 1,500, not
1,500.
15.
Security concerns from the
Maybe
town,
1,500?
would have access to
What?
that
How
website.
much you think it would cost?
I think if you were to go and say, hey, we have very little money, but this is gonna be a great attribute for one or two of your students to put on their resume and to start building their portfolio.
The farm just did one for $1,700 from zero.
So I think if you were to approach it, my
What did
first
they
thought
use?
was go to
Some kid-
Southwoods and ask
Some young
them.
kid
Yeah.
in New Hampshire.
And our school, tap into them. It could be a home run. All you have to do is ask.
Okay,
And
It
you
just
might,
has to be approved
and-
by probably Jim Middleton.
That's what I
He would secure it, they'd have to
Right.
pass everything to him, he'd screen it all, and then give it a go.
That's what I was getting at.
but we already have that in place here.
Yes.
Is he the IT guy here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's not like we're gonna recreate the wheel, but wow, what an opportunity to get some great messages out there to people.
okay.
So. that would
And
be my
any
recommendation.
other, I want to try to get kind of brainstorming, any other ideas?
Do you have any, Craig?
I
Either
think that's a
activities
good one to-
we want to do by June 30th, or ways of using our budget by June 30th. You know, next month or the month after, we can think of next fiscal year, but for now,
But
Yeah.
they're saying we could possibly, I mean, it'd be hard to chew through $2,000 if we don't do something like that, wouldn't
Sounds like it. Signs aren't gonna do it.
it? No.
Can you
No.
pre-buy,
signs can
can you
walk.
pre-buy
I was gonna
advertising?
say, if I may, signs, small business, you know, you have your small business Saturday that you plunk on the corners and stuff periodically, but some of the small businesses in town would probably like a sign that says, support my small business, or I'm a Southwick small business, some unifying message for those small businesses to plunk on their lawn, not in the center of town, but on their premise. They would like that.
so you're suggesting that we buy the signs to give them? I'm just, I
Yeah.
want to make sure I understand. Or what about giving them the ideas and let them buy their own signs? It's just, some people in town, if I,
Do a sign sharing. You buy it.
if
and
I give
if it
signs
costs you
in front of
$8,
Diane's,
charge them $3.
somebody else says, wait a minute, what about me? You didn't take care of my gas station, you didn't take care of my liquor store.
Then you buy some. If it costs you $8, they pay $3. If they wanna buy it, they pay $3. And you recover some of your cost. And then if you're totally bought out, you order some more.
It's just doing some of that through town procurement is utter chaos. The town won't use credit cards, they refuse.
That's
yeah.
bullshit, basically. That's bullshit.
No, well, you just listen for a moment. The town, you find the business, the vendor, you agree on a price that the vendor will charge, and you make sure that you're not giving the business just to one vendor and ignoring everybody else. The town won't pay them with a credit card. They say, we'll give you a purchase order. You deliver the product to us, so you spent your money, then we'll pay you sometime in the next month or two after we've gotten the goods delivered to us.
That's
That to me
business. That's
is
standard business.
a lot of business today, it isn't. That was the old model, I agree. But a lot of businesses today want credit cards.
I imagine
If you
so.
order online,
So,
I imagine Southwoods does business with the town now.
Well, remember when
they
the
do,
police have, we
and-
support Southwick Police, you know, people have those, haven't seen them lately. But they must have to pay for those. That's with the
those are
donation.
paid by a political party in
Okay,
town.
alright, I didn't know that,
Gets the signs made,
okay.
you pay $10 and they give you a sign.
I think if the EDC was to go into any of our local town, like from either Southwoods or the lady down on
Spotlight graphics.
Spotlight
Right,
Graphics
yeah.
and say, hey, we got the money in our budget. Here, we have proof to show that the money's in our budget, because we voted, town voted on it. I need to have this done, but I can't pay you for 60 days. Would you have a problem with that?
She doesn't have a problem with that, because these signs out here, she made, and she knows she has to wait for a
So
couple of
that's
months.
Right, so that's
So
not a
there,
problem.
that takes care of the problem. But you could do it as, even a lottery. Reach out to the businesses and say, hey,
Yeah,
we've
we
got
got
X,
500.
we've
Get
got,
yours first.
we've got X amount of signs available. Who would like them? And then that rules out making this business over there feel
Partiality.
like, oh, well, geez, they didn't contact me because I'm not on the main drag, or I'm not on College Highway. I would turn it into a lottery, and hey,
Yeah, no,
if you snooze,
I'm
you
writing
lose.
down,
If you're right on top of the game and you pounce, sign is yours. But you can give us $5 towards it, so that we can then roll that over for next
Yep.
year, or to make more signs.
Yep.
If you were to ask, say Sharon down at Re-Inspire, would you be interested in a couple of these signs? She would probably take 3 of them. So she could go point to point to point.
Right.
And get people, cause she
She
was there,
hasn't-
how
she-
can I get a sign
she
out
she
there like
has
that,
a
Inga?
new fence out there in the last week or so.
Yeah, I noticed that, yeah.
But she wanted
Right.
a sandwich sign, or a post, I think they call them sandwich signs, the sandwich,
The easel.
sandwich boards.
Easel.
Easel boards or sandwich boards. She wanted one, like we have right out here in front of the town hall, and I said, no, I can't get you one of those. But it was amazing how she would like one, Affordable Design would like one, the Farmhouse Furnitures, people would like them.
Why can't
So-
they get them?
Well, they were
'Cause this-
wondering, because we have it out, well, the town has it out here, were they part of the Shop Small Shop Local promotion? So did we have extra signs? So I think
I
we
see.
are, for you all, as the Economic
Yeah.
Development Commission, as that little group, could say, hey, we can do this for you. What a message that would send out to them. But as a lottery, that would be a home run in my opinion.
So are there any other ideas of things we can do between now and June 30th? I'm trying to get a number of things together, because I've got a lot more of the agenda to go through. Okay. So in terms of the business show, maybe sometime in calendar 2023. Under new business, we got the discussion and decision, how much are we gonna ask for FY '24? Because we've gotta do that this month.
I printed out the email that they sent out today to you guys. Just, she wants you to finish it electronically, but it's all on your phone.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So I knew that was coming up. So do we wanna ask for the same 2,000 for next year, or some other amount?
Some serious inflation going on.
Are we in tandem here tonight?
It just
Oh, yeah,
looks like-
budget request
it just looks like
packets.
this in the front.
Yeah. 4,000?
No, I have an idea.
3,000?
for you. Similar to what the Ag Commission did you could have a small business outreach and ask them, how can we help you? Instead of you trying to figure it out, you might be able to get 2, 3 things that they are really struggling with that you might be able to help them with. So you could host a little tea.
We could. The last time we tried this, it was 6, 8, 9 years ago, before the state rebuilt the downtown section of College Highway. And the reason we got success, it was like at 8 o'clock in the morning. I got DPW there, and DPW coerced or convinced the State Department of Transportation to show up. They didn't want to come, to explain what the project was going to be. Because you got property owners at the time, I still remember it, who came and said, "You're going to take my whole front lawn of my business. How much are you taking?" They said, "Well, let's go over here and let's look at the blueprints and see how much are we taking and what the impact is going to be." But we got them to come to that because that was the only way they could get information out of the state as to what the project was actually going to be. There were property owners on College Highway who yelled and screamed. I still remember what they said. I sit here all day long, I look out the window, and nobody is ever going to walk on those sidewalks. Well, that turned out to be incorrect. People do walk on the sidewalks. But this property owner said, nobody's going to walk on those sidewalks.
I can remember that because I own my property where my office is, and I had to sign over, was it an easement or something? And then they gave it back. But, yeah, I was all for it.
Okay, but that's not addressing what do the businesses want from you.
No, but
What do they
I mean,
want from you?
when we held something, we actually got turnout. But it's got to be something that convinces them.
Okay, so you can spend money to promote it, get the message out. What do you want from the Economic Development Commission? How can we help you? We're here to help you. How can we?
Right.
What do you need?
Right.
You can, get them. You could host it at Mrs. Murphy's if she'd open the door and then
Well, yeah, it's-
everybody there, but
Yeah, it's been closed. for
Traffic
2
jam.
years.
closed for special, open for special event only, right?
Yeah, right.
So how much, I mean, I'd say at least 3,000. If we're gonna try to do more stuff, then we ought to be asking for more, but especially if we're talking about, you just made the comment that this website, you expect costs a lot
I-
more than that.
From everything I've seen, the town spends thousands upgrading the town website. And they use some company from New Hampshire or something that,
Well,
Does
can't we
it
be
for
part of
100
the
or
town?
200?
Can our commission
then
be
you
part of
get
the
one
town?
page, basically, on the town website.
Is that true? Or can you have a page?
Could we use their
can you have your-
resources?
You already have a page.
Right.
Can you link your page? Actually, you are linked. I
I
can
would
get
think
to
so.
your page, can't I? Right from
I
the
would
town?
say
Yes.
so, yeah.
Yeah,
But-
you can put it on there.
I'll have to get a straight answer from the town. We have no control over that page. There's stuff listed on that page that has links to stuff that is not true.
Correct.
That's why it needs to be updated.
Correct.
This so-called economic development plan is no such thing. It's a plan that a woman from the Historical Commission, Craig, and some third person, I don't know who the third person is, created. It was a comprehensive housing and something other plan. But if you look on the town website, it identifies it as the Southwick Economic Development Plan, which it's not.
That's
But yeah,
odd. That's odd.
well, there's a
Who
lot of,
built this page, southwickinfo.com, that says?
that's
economic
me.
development?
I pay it out of my pocket.
Okay, so that's the site I'm saying. You already have that.
I have that I pay for, that is totally unaffiliated with the town. Because years ago, when I first got on EDC, Craig was here at the time, EDC had a page on the high school website. And that's where EDC had their stuff. The high school redesigned their website, EDC fell off. We had a member of the EDC at that time who was a professor at a nearby college who said, I'll find you some students and we'll create a website. 2 or 3 years later, nothing happened. I said, I'm tired of this. I'll go figure it out myself. And I went to Borgers and Barnes and Noble, and at that time, all the books about websites were written in hieroglyphics. They were in HTML, and I said, I don't even know how to spell that. What is it? So I found a company in Virginia, which has now been sold multiple times, where you could do it in simple English and fill in the blanks. So I said, that's my home. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not a computer programmer, so that's how I developed southwickma.info. So I've
And
been,
that's what I'm talking about, having updated and refreshed. I think it has 2010 census on it. But if you could just link that to the Southwick page with permission, of course, that's golden.
okay.
Right.
Then I can update that.
So that's a private email that you have.
Right.
Yeah.
I pull out my credit card and I pay for it.
Wow.
That should be part of your budget. You should submit that and be part of your budget. You should, absolutely, that's how you're gonna grow it.
I understand. But the town makes some of this stuff so pain in the ass.
That's part of the budget.
Be one right back.
It's part of the budget.
Yeah,
Yeah, but, okay.
but as far as the budget, we might as well ask for at least double.
Think
Because they're
so?
probably gonna
Four?
knock us down.
I would.
Right.
That's what I said.
Yeah, totally.
The next item, which we'll put off until next month, we talked about it briefly in prior meetings, is talk about
Mission statement?
the mission statement. Because that in itself could take an hour or two, and we'd have various samples and various things. Now, I know and we have a support staff now, but apparently we've got minutes,
Yeah.
etc. that I think what we need to do is take the minutes out of the folder, because she'll collect the minutes, the folder back. So we need to take the minutes out of there, look them over in the next month's meeting, approve multiple months.
Yeah, it goes all the way back to
Minutes.
April. I'm hoping I'll be here at the next meeting, but
She's having a baby.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
I know the way you've been looking there.
it's very uncomfortable.
I
So you
see
want us to
that.
take these? Or I thought you
Yeah,
wanted
you
them
can-
back?
You can take them and then just make your edits to those copies and then just bring them back and put
Right.
them back in your folder and or just
Okay.
give them to.
So
Right.
We're gonna sign one page though, right? We're not all signing.
There's no need for that signing thing. Most boards and committees don't
Yeah,
sign.
some of them do, some of them don't. It's-
So
it's really a
let's
preference.
not start
Okay.
creating
I mean, when I
something that we
create,
don't
when
need
I put them
to.
all in a book, I'll bring them to like, once there's enough in there, I can bring them to a meeting and if you want to, you can sign them, but if not, I
A lot
won't.
of them,
Yeah.
even the select board, they don't sign
Yeah.
off on their minutes.
Okay.
And
So,
Board of Health is the only one that I've really seen that does it, so.
so are we good with what we're going to ask them? Does that have to be in by when?
When did she say it was due by?
It's gotta be in, I think it's the end of January.
Is this, it says Friday, February 3rd, is this the budget?
Yes,
Okay.
because we have to, well, the library, we have to have a special meeting since this thing just came out and it's before our next
Do
meeting.
electronically to the
To
county
look at
office
it.
no later than Friday, February 3rd, 2023.
Well, if we're gonna start doing some of these things, we're gonna do them up right. I hate to cut ourselves, 2,000's not enough for anything.
So what number do we want to put down for FY '24?
4,000, 5,000?
Yeah, it's somewhere between 4 and 5, I think.
4,500, 5,000?
I'd go for 5.
Yeah.
Go for 5,
I would.
Five
but
then.
break it out. You need to tell them how you're gonna do it. on what components.
So, what number do you go for?
5,000?
5,000.
Yeah.
Okay,
How about you, Mike?
then I'll go along with it.
If they see that you haven't spent the money that you already have now, are they gonna question giving you more?
Well, that's
Yes.
why I wanna get some of this money
Yeah,
spent
spend it.
You have to spend it.
We're going
Go
to,
away.
in the next few weeks.
if they say, why didn't, having to spend it to date, you mean? Because it wasn't enough to make a difference, so we're asking for enough to make a difference.
Good one.
Good one.
That's that Saturday morning meeting in February or early March, when we sit there with the FinCon and the select board.
Can
Yes,
I make a suggestion? I would really sit down and look at what your initiatives will be for this year. Website upgrade, hosting an event saying, how can we help you? Looking at the lottery for the sandwich boards, so that we could get more when people are driving down the highway, coming from Connecticut or wherever, they see a local business, oh, I love shopping local, because I know my circle, we all like to shop local. So that's gonna draw people.
let me give you an example which I find bizarre. I was in a supermarket within 5 miles of here this morning. And it had a cardboard display with stuff in it. At the top of the display it says, buy local. And the profits go to the Netherlands. Because that's where the parent is. But it's buy local. I mean, it's one thing to say, buy gasoline or a cup of coffee or a sandwich at the Notch. But if the Notch was owned by a company in Belgium or the Netherlands, and you put up the sign, buy local, I wouldn't be impressed. Other than the fact that that supermarket or whatever kind of business it is, does employ people. So at least some of the money stays in the local area.
I'm trying to understand this lottery here, or the signage. Why would, what is it, Aspire down there? Why would they want 3 signs?
I'm just
on
saying
the-
hypothetically, she might want 3. I know she wanted 1, and she was very involved with the shop local, shop small. But because she's, depending on how that board would be positioned, yeah, you wanna get people coming from both north and south, but also people coming in off of
Whiting Hill.
Vining Hill. So, I'm just saying.
People may know that they're a local business, obviously, it's parked right here on College Highway. They want a reminder when people are just zooming by.
Right, so I'm trying to think of how that
And the
sign can be
wording has
created
to
so it's
say
effective, you
something
know.
meaningful.
And what did you say, what was your suggestion for what it should say? Help me support my business? Yeah, I don't know.
Support my local business.
It'll take
Yeah.
I
some
mean,
thought,
it
but-
could be a couple
Yeah.
of different messages.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's something you can send an email to all the businesses and ask them if we had these signs, how would it help you? What do you want it
Right,
to say?
that could
You
be
know,
part of
Don't
that,
ask him,
Right.
ask them.
right. That's where if you host an event, they will come. I hate to say like the Field of Dreams,
Like Bert, he was expecting 5.
yeah. And
He had 30 people? Yeah.
I didn't know how many I was gonna get in 10 days of executing this, and it was 18 businesses. And that's working full-time and making calls during my
Right.
lunch break. So if you had a concentrated effort, you would probably see the numbers double or triple. Because everyone that was contacted was, wow, this would be great to help drive our
And many
business."
times you've got to hit them more than once. The week before, I had softened them up, handing them
Yeah.
brochures, handing them some bags, handing them some stuff, but I thought that's all there was gonna be. And then we had the meeting, you had the idea, and Small Business Saturday was the following week.
And if you wanna do some quick outreach, you could work with Southwoods. Every month that thing goes out, I think everybody reads it, scans through it.
Yeah,
You all could go around to businesses, ask them if they wanna do a little feature. And that could be part of your spending is once a month with Southwoods. Feature one of these small businesses, let them talk about their history, let them talk about their product, let them talk about their local employees.
Kind of like Business West does.
Who?
Business West, it's a
Oh, yeah,
business
yeah,
magazine.
very similar to us.
They pick a
Exactly.
town and then they pick
Exactly.
sometimes certain businesses and.
yeah.
We're scheduled for April.
Oh, in Business
So,
West.
so
this year.
that can be a monthly expense, is some exposure in Southwoods.
So
And
did
you could
get that
even
copy
submit
of
it
that
to the
magazine?
Westfield paper.
Westfield,
Yes, I did.
It's part of why we need more money.
what a nice,
That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to give you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I could spend money.
It's interesting, East Granby, Connecticut has a monthly newsletter that the town puts out. I think most of it's electronic now, it used to be printed and mailed. And they've got sections in there, I think it's like 18 or 20 pages long. The local Republican Town Committee has like half a page for their comments, Democratic Town Committee. The school system's got a page or two. The Economic Development Commission in East Granby has like half a page, and for the last 6 months, they've been spotlighting businesses in East Granby.
Oh, there you go.
So if you were to go and talk to Carol and say, hey, what could you give me for a price to do a 1 page or a half a page to highlight a local business?
Each
That's,
month,
that's right in the budget.
it's in your budget.
And then that's helping our local businesses grow.
They'll be
So-
calling you, when can I get in? When's my feature?
Yeah.
Well, it's like the firemen, they have the
You could sweeten
calendar.
it with them by saying, we'll have half a page, and we'll encourage the business to fill out the other half of the page with their own
With an
advertisement.
ad, there you go.
With an ad.
The firemen
You,
have that
you've just
calendar, you've
described
seen it.
Business West.
So,
When they
Right.
focus in a
It's-
town, all the banks and insurance agents
Right.
around there buy ads.
That's correct.
But like what Jack just said, that's creating revenue.
Right,
It's trickle down.
Correct.
We'll pay for the top, you can pay for the bottom,
Or not.
Because
Or not.
Southwoods is a small business
or
too.
not, they might not want to, but it's an opportunity to be rallying and having that engagement, because these people, they want to talk.
Right.
Right.
They are proud of what they've done.
when I
Plus,
hand,
if we have
They
that
want
in our
more than
budget,
just
and
a
you're
sign.
doing small
when I
business Saturday,
hand
you
those
have a
couple of
page
bags,
Instead of a business, you advertise that.
because when I handed out, and this has happened for years since we started doing it, a few bags to local business, especially on College Highway, for Small Business Saturday. There's certain businesses that are very busy and you just give them the stuff and there's no conversation. Others, the person will talk to you for half an hour. And this is the once a year I go into that business.
And
Give them a few trinkets.
that's why we have to, or you all have to do it more than just once a year.
so I'm just wondering how we can create relevancy and so forth, because it seems like we're talking about this community thing, which, you know, Serena and I, way back when, were
Oh,
part of
yeah.
this.
Like our
associ-
chamber.
It
What do we have?
was SAB, and then it
Yeah.
was SAM.
Oh, for a
You
long
know,
time.
Suffolk Association of Business and
Oh.
Merchants and so forth. And I'm just, it seems like if we had something like that created within the EDC here, I don't know how we do all of that, but it seems like that community is what we're really trying to go for. That's what they're doing with the farmers, right? But I don't know how we can formally or informally make that happen, because that's really what's necessary. So there's some identity, you know, being associated with a Southwick business, right? I mean,
So you're talking about doing like a spin-off of the EDC into another subgroup?
well, I'm just saying.
Because it's hard enough to get everybody to come here
I wouldn't say
every
a spin-off,
month.
I'm just wondering how, if you're part of this, you know, this lottery or whatever, you know, I mean, for lack of a better word, it seems like there needs to be some identity with EDC in order to be involved at that level, right? If you created that community, then they're going to benefit. We've got the involvement of them, their interest and input and all that kind of stuff, which we need. And it just works both ways, but I'm just thinking about how we make all of that start to come together, so it's not just a one-way street here.
You could just do a three times a year, one of your meetings, you invite the businesses. anybody who wants to come in and give some input.
Well,
Doesn't have to be formal or
yeah,
another association.
Yeah, I'm not really thinking about that. I'm thinking in terms of, you talked about the signs. I'm sort of laser focused here. You talked about the signs, so if one person sees it, another person would like to have that. We're talking about buying local. I think that we shouldn't go with our hat in our hand, though. I think it ought to more be like, thank you for shopping local. Right? I mean, I think that we,
Yeah.
right? You know what I'm saying? It's the
the-
message that,
The message can be really varied.
yeah.
Right.
The whole thing is just as what the EDC is right now, how can the EDC benefit our businesses and benefit the community as a whole? So that's what I'm looking to see. That's why I'm coming to these meetings, to try and add a little bit of flavor and juice into it, to come up with some different ideas. But it's, at the end of the day, it's finding out in a real simple format, you know, how can you help them? And it's getting out and asking them. I think a great idea would be to have, like Diane said, a forum and say, hey, come.
The thing with the
And then
farmers,
you could,
that
then the
kind of,
struggle would be, do we break it down into like a Southwick Business Association? Or is it just part of what the EDC is?
It's what you are.
So
It's
when you're
what you
talking about
are.
having a tea or something like that, that's what I'm saying. We have to
Just like,
start,
yeah, just like what Bert
Yeah.
said about, hey, they hosted an event, they sent out, hey, here, we're gonna be here. We'd love for you to come.
that sounds, you know, since they were very successful with it, they
Yeah,
had no idea if,
no,
you know, if
no.
anyone would show up.
But you've gotta start somewhere. And out of the different restaurants that participated with it, that would be the first group that I would contact and say, hey, we're looking to host an event. When is the slowest time of the week for you? We don't need a lot, we just need space. And some refreshments. And that's part of the budget. They probably donate the space for free. They might only charge $50 for all the soft drinks that you could use. And we get cookies from the bakery donated for free. If you ask people, I need your help, it's amazing
Yeah.
what they will do within reason when they know
Right,
this is what it's going to benefit.
right.
It's a start. And you send
Well,
out a,
Yeah, it's like the Home and Business Show. We got businesses to come. And we got the politicians will walk through, it's like, oh wow, there's a lot of people here. And the banks and insurance agencies and other businesses got a chance to put their name out in front of the community.
I think first is
Personally,
finding
the
out.
banks aren't what I consider small business, but
I know, I give them the benefit of the doubt, but
Yeah.
that isn't who your target is.
no. Well, that's
But
why,
I mean, one of your goals is to help these businesses thrive,
right,
and you gotta know what they need,
right.
and that's what it gets down to.
And
Right.
it's by asking. And it's,
That's why I don't, for small business Saturday, I don't go to McDonald's or Dunkin'
I know,
Donuts.
I know.
yep, it was all Southwick owned or Southwick owned local businesses. But that's where also, I think once you start seeing that energy and you're starting to see some activity and wow, this is something new and fresh. It's not 10 years old. The select board would probably be more receptive to, wow, 5K. Okay, this is what we're gonna be doing. Okay, let's approve it.
And
Right.
it gets, I don't wanna say it gets easier, but the second time you do something like that, the businesses are gonna start telling you, you should do this. They'll give you those suggestions. You won't have to think
Right.
it all up. They'll see the benefit and
Right.
start coming to you, why
Yeah,
don't
it,
you do
it,
this?
it,
And you can even do like a think tank forum,
Sure.
small business think tank forum.
we know what you meant.
But I think when you add that, when you add in, hey, we're gonna have a think tank forum, we want your input, come. This is the day, time.
Well, I think for now, we'll just think the next meeting is February 15th. In the meantime, the budget material will be submitted to the FinCon in accordance with their instructions, and we'll go forward from there. Look over the meeting minutes, et cetera, and then at the next meeting,
Which will be downstairs.
I haven't been told anything.
Yeah,
Is
I'm
it-
the one
yeah.
who tells you, yes. That's what we're doing. But they're good, they want us to be all downstairs on Zoom and you can park along the side and use the side entrance but I got the green light from Jim that we're all set with everything. We have everything we need. It's really big down there. I went down there today, he gave me a rundown of
So it's the Park and Rec where what's, Carla used to sit. That's conference room 3?
Yeah, so when you walk in, the door's down there. The room to the left.
Okay, that was Carla's office.
Oh, so they have computers and everything down there?
They have a big screen TV, they have a laptop with an owl. There is a computer down there, but there's really not a use for it because they have the laptop with the owl.
Okay.
And they have chairs set up for guests and a big, big table with new chairs and stuff. It looks nice.
So if you have your child
Yeah.
next month, will there be somebody else there to administer?
There should be, yes. I don't know who that person is, they haven't told me, but I'm guessing since they just got me and they want to use me and do the whole Zoom thing, that they will find someone to
Okay.
replace me.
Temporarily.
Yeah, for sure a while.
How long will we be out for? A couple months?
Just probably, if I have the baby, like end of February, probably like mid-May or
Okay.
early May, depending.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Thanks.
Hope everything goes well.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Okay,